Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome out to another episode of the podcast. This is being brought to you by Nation's Best Football. Appreciate them for everything they do. If you guys haven't followed them, I'm going to link them here in the description because we're bringing on one of their featured athletes to this podcast to help spotlight them and show you guys who they are, with the hard work they've been putting in, and what they intend on doing moving forward. I love talking to athletes that are getting into the high school scene because they're learning the, I guess, the rules of the game, and they're learning the system, and they're understanding what it's going to require to what's required to actually compete at the next level. And it's really cool to hear their experiences as they get into the weight room and as they start to realize what the high school scene is like compared to that of the middle school scene. And that's exactly what we're going to be going over today. A lot of these youth can teach us a lot. So I'd encourage you guys to take out a notepad. If you're listening to this on an Apple device or any kind of mobile device for that matter, get your notepad out, unlock your phone. Make sure you get ready to take some notes. That's what I always encourage people to do. If you're listening to this on YouTube or you're watching it on YouTube, awesome. Have a notepad ready that if you want to take some notes from our guest today, type some stuff out. That's what the point of this podcast is to educate and help others grow as well. So this is going to be a perfect episode for anybody who is a sports fan, and especially young athletes that are competing at the next level and they're trying to get into the high school and in the college realm. We've got a quarterback coming on the show, and you don't want to miss this episode of the Game Time Guru. So,
what time is it? Game time!
This is the Game Time Guru podcast, where I interview sports figures from all over the world to help deliver a panoramic view on sports. So whether you're a former athlete, one of the crazies, or simply a casual sports fan, this is the perfect show for you as we peel back the curtains and learn from our guests every single week. I'm your host, Shane Larson, and I'm helping you see sports through a different lens.
What's up, everybody? Welcome out to another episode of the Game Time Guru podcast. My name is Shane Larson, host of the show. If this is your first time listening, I always try to tell all the listeners, hey, welcome aboard. We're excited to have you with us. The show has been going on for 6.5 years now. It has been downloaded in 180 countries and in all 50 states. And so we've got sports fans from all over the globe listening to the podcast. And every week we do this. We come to you with another interview with a different guest to share their story so you can get to know them better, get to know more about their sport, and then you can become a fan of that guest as they move forward in their athletic career. So today is no different. We're bringing on an awesome guest, class of 2027. He's a quarterback. His name is Ali Beydoun, and Ali's going to be sharing some stories with us, get to know him a little bit better, and we're really excited to chat with him. So Ali, thanks for joining the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. So currently you're at Toledo Central Catholic. So Toledo Central Catholic in Ohio. Talk to us a little bit about what it's been like. I guess, are you a freshman just finishing up your freshman year over there, right?
Oh, no, I'm going into freshman year.
Going into freshman year, 24, 25, 26. Oh, you're going into your freshman year. That's right. So you're going to be going over there. Have you started your summer workouts with this program yet?
Yeah, it's been tough. I started last week. Yeah, it's been very tough on me and my teammates, but I've been able to bond with my teammates. You know, everybody's coming from different schools, so yeah, it's been cool.
That is actually beautiful. I'm glad that we made that correction here because now I got more questions for you. Okay, so what is the biggest, I guess, for you going into the high school level now? You mentioned it's tough. Talk to us about that transition. What's so tough about the summer camps now that you're getting into those workouts and stuff? What's the difference, I guess? Maybe not just what's tough, but what's different for you?
I think it's maybe like way more serious than middle school. You know, lots more expectations and stuff. But honestly, I think I like it more. I think I like to have more pressure on me, you know, to do good. And I just like the atmosphere way more. You kind of have more freedom.
Absolutely, man. And you also mentioned, Ali, that you have other athletes coming from different schools. You know, coming into high school, you get a little bit different vibe from different people, and that's going to be one of the biggest things. You know, as you continue to progress in your athletic career, with through football, through high school, everything, you're going to have to learn how to vibe with other players. I guess my question up until this point would be like, how do you anticipate doing that? How are you going to be able, as a leader, to rally the troops, even if you're not used to playing with certain guys? How do you think that you can do that as a leader to like pull them all together and get everybody meshing well together?
Yeah, I'd say definitely motivation. I want to, motivate my teammates, and just like honestly have like a winning season, and not even a winning season kind of. I just want to have fun out there, and like really, really show my teammates that like we can do it basically.
Totally, man. On your Instagram bio, you're listed as a dual threat quarterback. It lists you at 5'11", 155. Dual threat. So talk to us about your dual threat capabilities. When they say dual threat, everyone's like, oh, he can just run really fast, or oh, he has a cannon on him. Talk to us about what you bring to the field as a quarterback at this age right now.
Yeah, so it's mainly dual threat. My throwing is definitely like more than running, but I can definitely get away from pressure whenever I want. If I have pressure in my face, I can get away from it, and I can score long touchdowns. Not like sometimes you have to be smart about it. Like take a slide. Like try not to get like tackled. But yeah, you just kind of want to slide if like and avoid pressure.
Yeah, so I'm glad to hear that because, a lot of college coaches, they look at that, right? They look at, when they see a dual threat, that's a good thing. But obviously, as you know, like sometimes there's a little bit of a warning, like a red flag, like, well, how much is he running? Is he going to be smart when he's running? Is he going to slide when he needs to slide? And that's why I was trying to ask that, because you said you do a lot. You're more of a pass first quarterback, but you're a capable runner because you're an athlete. And so talk to us about your throwing style. Are you more sit in the pocket right now, or are you one that's thrown on the run a little bit more based on your experience so far as an athlete?
Yeah, I've been throwing on the run mainly. Yeah, just getting out of the pocket, throwing on the run. But yeah, I can also stand in the pocket and avoid pressure when I need to. It's honestly whatever happens in the game, I can adjust to.
Heck yeah. So in your Instagram bio, you have a trainer. It says Locked In QB on Instagram is who you've trained with. Talk to us about what goes on in your training sessions in the off season.
Yeah, man. So Austin and KJ, they live in I think Oklahoma. So we just do like weekly Zooms and stuff, watching film, coverages and stuff, and they kind of teach this concept called an extension, where some like quarterbacks, they'll tend to go over the top, but for us, we get to extension so we can get more velocity on the ball and stuff, and that's really what they've been teaching, and I'm going to see them actually this Thursday in Tennessee. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Meet them first time in person.
Heck yeah, man. Hey, that's a cool thing about technology, isn't it? Like you're doing Zoom calls with these guys and learning. You're doing a call with me right now for this podcast, and I'm in Idaho, all the way across the country. I'm in Idaho. We're able to converse over this, but then you're going to go meet them in person and actually get to chat with them. That's awesome, man. You're talking about watching film. So that's a skill set that I wanted to touch base on too, as I talk to other professional football players and collegiate football players. One of the things they talk about is how hard it was for them to transition into the collegiate game, because film sessions become so much more a part of the game. Like it's more of your preparation. You have to learn how to watch film. So talk to me about what you talked about coverages. You're learning about coverages. When you guys watch film together, what's like the biggest thing you've taken away from watching film, and how has that helped you on the field in the physical aspect?
Yeah, definitely. So I just want to start by saying like watching film is like one, if not the most important like aspect of the game. Like you can have all this physical ability, but like if you don't know what's going on in the field, like you're not gonna be able to use it. So the main thing I've taken away is probably coverages. I know like lots of coverages now, and it's making it way easier on the field to throw through like pockets and stuff, and to know like where my wide receivers are gonna be at, and like connecting the coverages with the concepts that we're running. And so yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's crazy. Ali, as you look at quarterbacks, they're literally playing a game of chess. And the quarterbacks that typically can pick teams apart, they're not always the most athletic. They're not always the most skilled, so to speak. They don't always have the biggest arm, but they're the ones who understand what the defense is doing before the defense does it. So that's why I think it's cool that you're already watching film. I mean, I'm not sure. It's probably before your time, but well, not much before your time. You might have been really little at the time. But a guy named Kellen Moore. Okay. If you ever go on YouTube, Kellen Moore, he played for Boise State and he was our quarterback. He's only 5'10", 5'11", but he lost 3 football games throughout his entire college career by a combined 5 points, I believe. And that's the school I graduated from, was Boise State University. And he was a left-handed quarterback, but he was exactly that. He he was the guy who could just pick teams apart because he knew exactly what they were going to do before they did it. He's not fast. He's not tall. He's not strong, but he knew exactly where he's like, okay, we're in this coverage. I'm going to hit my slot. Boom. If that's not there, I got to check down here. Boom. And he just beat everybody because he had the IQ. So I just wanted to touch base on that because I think it's awesome that you're already watching film at this age, and it's a skill set that you're going to need to continuously improve as you get older. Growing up until now, you're getting into high school now. This is one of those things. Do you guys in Ohio have like a prep football, so to speak? Like, I know there's middle school or junior high, but do you guys have like a travel team like Pop Warner or any of those types of teams? Have you been able to play for any of them?
Yeah, so in Ohio it's kind of difficult. Like, there's no really 7-on-7. You can't play 7-on-7 in high school. So, yeah, I just been playing like 7-on-7 till 8th grade, but I can't really play in high school. So, I guess it's just more training in the off season with coaches and stuff like that, more than like travel teams, because it's not allowed in the OSAA.
So Ohio doesn't have 7-on-7s over
No.
there?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. That's actually become a big thing here in Idaho. Is 7-on-7 for the high school kids out here. Like, it's huge. They travel all across the West Coast and stuff. And they seem to like it. There's some benefits and disadvantages to it, but most of the time those kids tend to improve, especially the quarterbacks. They tend to improve a lot during those. So that's interesting to know. But you did play 7-on-7 up until 8th grade, right? Like, is what you said.
Yeah.
What do you think was the biggest thing you took away from 7-on-7 that you could actually implement onto 11-man football?
Definitely timing. That 4-second count helps me with my timing a lot. And since I'm starting to know coverages, I'm starting to like I was saying, match up the concepts. And so, yeah, I think it's gonna help a lot in regular football.
Heck yeah, man. I got a question for you, Ali, as a younger athlete yourself and just a younger human being in this world. Social media, it's a tough thing, but you've got quite a following already on your social media platforms. But it can be a really tough thing for some kids because there's a lot of pressure that's out there with social media. So I just want to know, like, for yourself, how do you handle having, additional pressures on your shoulders as an athlete that has a large following already at this age? How do you intend on managing that? And how do you cope with that, making sure that you don't have to deal with all the stresses that come from social media and just the normal social pressures of life?
Yeah, so I don't really I don't run my Instagram. As you know, my dad takes care of all of that. It's just too much pressure for me. But yeah, I'm rarely on like Instagram. I'm just kind of like focused on my own path, working in the dark, and yeah, I don't really tend to focus. But I love pressure. I think pressure is comes with very, very good players. So yeah, it hasn't really been like that too big for me.
Smart. I like that. I'm glad to hear that you're not necessarily, you got your dad that can help you out with that. You can focus on what's important, which is playing the game and just enjoying yourself as an athlete, Got a question for you in regards to your favorite players. Is there any player that you look up to at the quarterback position right now, whether they're professional, college, high school, whatever, that you've looked up to and want to try to like style your game after?
Bryce Young. Yeah, I've looked up to Bryce Young forever now. I love his game. He's not the tallest guy, but he's just so smooth, and yeah, I try to like be like him on the field.
Bryce Young. What stands out to me about Bryce Young is, yeah, like you said, he's not the tallest guy. He's a small dude, actually. He's actually quite small compared to most quarterbacks at that level. But he gets the job done. It's his leadership and how he handles pressure situations. I noticed that a lot during last season specifically. Mm-hmm. He understands how to handle pressure situations. For yourself, I'm sure there hasn't been a ton of opportunities to handle pressure situations, but I'm sure there have been some. Can you explain or maybe just share with us a memory you might have from your playing experience where you had to handle some pressure in the in-game situation and how you were able to do that?
I think last game of the season, there's this 4th down that I had to convert, or we basically would have lost the game. It was on the game-winning drive. It was this big 4th down. I think it was like 4th and 15. And yeah, I banged the slant to my dude, 4th and 15, and yeah, we got down 1st down. We kept it moving, and we eventually tied that game. But I mean, if it wasn't for that slant, we probably would have lost.
Ooh, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's cool to see that you got a little Bryce Young in you already with the confidence and being able to handle the pressure. So talk to us, Ali, about, yourself off the field. What is your favorite thing to do outside of football? Like if you take football away, and like, what do you enjoy doing in your free time?
Definitely hanging out with friends. Yeah, hanging out with friends, just like riding my bikes outside, going places. Just having fun. Just yeah, being there with my friends. Definitely hanging out with friends.
Hanging out with friends. And here's something that I think it would be important to bring up too. I mean, friends are super important. When I was talking there's a guy named Lee Steinberg that I had on the show, and I interviewed Lee. He's an agent. He's Patrick Mahomes' agent in the NFL. In the
Uh,
NFL. So I had him on the show, and I was talking to him about some things, and he talked about, obviously they're in the NFL, but he talked about their influences and their friends, basically, like your social influence that you have around you, and to be smart about that. So I would say this, like, I would ask you this, like, how do you make sure that, while you're having fun with your friends, you're also making sure to not to not get in trouble? Like, how do you go about that so that you don't put yourself in bad situations to get yourself, because you got other things you got to worry about? How do you make sure that your friends and you stay out of trouble while you're still having a good time?
yeah, it's just like definitely being on the same page and just being smart, like not doing stuff you're supposed to, and not doing stuff that like put your season in jeopardy and stuff like that. And like I don't hang out with bad friends. I'll tend to hang out with like friends that are like sport guys and like know what's in check and stuff like that.
That's
Just
awesome.
it's definitely just hang with a good group.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a good thing to do. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Just, you know it already, but just keep that in mind as you get older. Like, it's one of the things they always tell us as athletes, like, make sure you're aware of who you're around, because yeah, just make sure they understand what your ultimate goal is so that you don't forget your ultimate goal and get yourself in situations that you don't want to be in. So that's awesome, man. Um, what's your best skill set that you bring to the field? You talked about motivating as a leader. You can be a motivator, leading, but what is your best skill set that you bring to a football team?
To a football team, yeah, I'd say leadership, motivation, and like like throwing side part and the quarterback side part, definitely my accuracy.
So you
Yeah.
got the skill set there. You got the leadership, and you just got the skill set of throwing the football. Like, you're
Yeah.
natural at it.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome, man. Anyone else in your family play football as well, like your dad or any siblings or cousins or anyone?
Yeah. So my dad played Division 1 at Toledo, University of Toledo. He played D tackle. So yeah, and he won a MAC championship in 2001.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
So you played D tackle and you're playing
Yeah.
quarterback.
Yeah. Kind of
So
weird.
so here's my question for you. I don't know your dad, but do you, like, are you going to get the size that your dad had if he was playing D tackle? Are you going to grow to that size?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm already 5'11". He's 6'3", so I mean, it is what it is. I really don't have any more excuses for my height since like there's guys like Caleb Williams and Bryce Young. So, yeah, it's gonna be a ride.
Yeah, whether you're 5'11" or 6'10", like, you're going to be throwing the ball. I just think I didn't realize that your dad had the D1 genetics in him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's pretty cool. Cool. Do you hear any stories from your dad about what it takes to get to the collegiate level, and maybe like what's something that your dad has taught you that you've implemented to be able to prepare to try to get to that next level?
Taught me to definitely treat people with respect. Treat coaches with respect. Let's say like practice is done, like go shake their hand, like tell them like your thank you and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely respect.
That is so awesome that you said that. So, Ollie, I coach basketball for like 16, 17-year-old kids. We travel around. It's AAU basketball, but we coach. One of the biggest things that every college coach has told me when I talk to them and I'm trying to help my kids get recruited, one of the biggest things they've told me is a handshake and a thank you go a long way. So when kids are at tournaments and they see that a college coach is coming to watch, they'll go, if one of them comes up and shakes their hand and says, "Thanks for coming to watch," it goes a long way. So it's cool that you have that. It's one of the things I share with my kids all the time that I coach, that if you have that skill set and just that understanding of how important a handshake and a thank you is, like, at this age, that's already perfect. So your dad obviously knows what he's talking about. That's super, super cool. Here's another thing. If there's something that's going to sound like a weird question, but if there was something that you need to improve on, like a coach is like, well, he's good. We know he can throw the ball. He's 5'11". He's an athlete. He can run. He's a leader. But what's something that you can improve on the field, and how do you anticipate doing that?
Improve on, you can definitely always improve on your knowledge of the game. So I know like coverages, but I can like know more variations. Yeah, definitely just like improving on more knowledge of the game. Yeah, and
Awesome.
just like diving deeper into it.
Yeah, the IQ of the game can definitely help you out. That's awesome that you're already understanding that. What about the weight room? Have you started hitting the weights yet, or are you waiting a couple of years before you get into the physical training side of things?
No, yeah. I've been in the weight room this past year. I make sure not to do like not much heavyweight because like you're not gonna need like much heavyweight as a quarterback. But I do weight that's comfortable. I try to go heavy sometimes, but yeah, I just mainly want to be flexible and like just have that twerk of throwing the ball.
Heck yeah. So I was gonna say, like, since you've started lifting weights now, and you just said you started lifting, what's the biggest? I guess, have you noticed it helping your game as a quarterback since you started hitting the weight room?
Yeah, I can definitely throw the ball farther. I'm way stronger. I can take more hits on the field, and definitely just like more stronger and bigger.
Totally, man.
Yeah.
Up into this point, you mentioned the 4th and 15 play that you had. That was like one of the times that you were able to execute under pressure. Is there a favorite memory you've had so far, Ali, in your football career up into this point?
Um, I don't know. There's been lots of memories. I once ducked under a guy that was coming to rush me. So yeah, he jumped over me and I ducked under him and I took it for like a 30-yard run.
That's pretty dope, man. And if I were you, I would never forget that, and I would never let that other guy forget that either. That's just something you tell later on when you're playing in the bigs, and
Yeah.
you can always talk about that. What about a coach? Have you had a coach that's been influential for you? And maybe if you wouldn't mind, like maybe sharing something that a coach has taught you that you've been able to implement into your life.
Yeah, so I've had tons of coaches. Coach Rob, Austin, KJ locked in. Yeah, so Coach Rob, he's a footwork coach, fourth and goal. He's taught me like killer footwork that like my footwork has been so nice. That's why I can basically like do anything on the field with my feet. And his tag is fourth and goal. And then KJ and Austin, they Austin's like a mental coach. KJ's a throwing coach. Man, those guys have helped me so much. Like with the game, Austin's been teaching me coverages and concepts, and yeah, KJ like they have this online program that you go on, and yeah, it's awesome. It's been a ride.
That's awesome, man. Super, super cool. What about a teammate? Talk to us about this. Do you have a teammate that you've enjoyed playing with, and maybe that you've learned something from that you could share with us?
Um, Teammate. Yeah, probably this one wide receiver that I actually threw that pass to on fourth down. Yeah, he's definitely has like that same mindset. I mean, has that same work mindset, and we're basically always on the same page on the field.
Heck yeah, man. Ali, do you play any other sports? Are you a multi-sport athlete, or are you focused on football?
Yeah, I started playing basketball actually in this AAU season. From like I haven't played basketball in like 3 years.
Okay, so you've played this last year with AAU. Um, okay, that's perfect. I want to ask you this question. Multi-sport athletes, there's this whole conversation on like, should kids focus on one sport? Should they focus on multiple sports? I want to know your thoughts. And then secondly, I want to know, is there anything that you were able to translate from the football side of things onto the basketball court?
So I think you should definitely be a multi-sport athlete, but like I think you should have one sport in priority and play the other sport like just like basically just for fun. And yeah, I think that's gonna go a long way. And what was the other question you asked?
I was going to say, did you notice anything that you took from the football field that you could implement into basketball? And I'll kind of follow up on that. But is there anything on the basketball court that you're like, man, because I understand the coverages in a football game, like I can see the defense better, I can make better passes, something like that. Is there anything you were able to take?
Definitely aggressiveness in football translate to the basketball court. Yeah, and you can't really get shook that easily in basketball. So yeah, definitely I'd say definitely aggressiveness and defense.
Heck yeah, man. That's super cool. I asked that question because, like I said, I coach basketball. One of my point guards, my starting point guard for our club team, he is going to be a senior this year. He plays wide receiver on the football team. He just lost in the state championship this last year, and they're trying to make a trip back to the state championship. So he's a pretty vital piece to their football program as well as the basketball program, who also lost in the state championship this year. So he's lost in 2 state championships. Anyway, my point is, though, I noticed because of his football skill as a wide receiver, it helped him so much on the basketball court because he understands where the pass is going to be. So on defense, he runs to the ball, he can get his hand on the ball, tip it, and take it to the rack on the other side, go baseline to baseline. And it's just cool to see how some sports translate your skill sets and the different things you learn. They translate from one to the other. I also love that you just said, play one for fun. I just talked on my show. I had Jake Plummer, who used to play in the NFL as a quarterback. He played for the Cardinals as well as the Denver Broncos. He actually is from Idaho. So he was on the show talking about, he played football, baseball, and basketball. And football obviously is where he went. He played professionally for many years, but he did talk about that, you got to have other sports to play. And it almost is like it helps you decompress a little bit. Like helps you have fun. Right. And that's what it sounded like when you were saying, have something that you can play for fun. So what's your favorite course to study in school, Ali?
My favorite course?
What's your favorite thing to study in school?
Probably social studies. I kind of like learning about world history.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So you like social studies?
Yeah, I'm not a math guy at all.
Hey, it's interesting though, because a lot of quarterbacks like math because they're solving an equation. It's almost like a play out there. They're solving an equation. But I love that you like social studies and learning about world history. That's super, super cool, man. Yeah. So here's my last question for you, Ali, as we get ready to wrap this up, as we're getting to know you better. I want to know for the listeners out there, well, it's my next to last question. Where can we expect to see you in 2 to 3 years? Obviously, you're going into high school right now, but what do you expect from yourself as an athlete, as a quarterback in the next 2 to 3 years?
I kind of just want to be like the best version of myself I can be. And, I'll probably be a junior in 3 years. Definitely way better. My craft, my defensive understanding is going to be way better. I don't really want to talk about offers or all of that. I'm not really focused on that right now. I'm just focused on getting better and, doing the work and grinding.
I love it, man. Yeah. Hey, last question for you as far as everything's concerned. I want to remind everybody as we're listening to this that the episode itself is being brought to you by Nation's Best Football. I appreciate Bob over at Nation's Best for allowing me to connect with Ali and his family, because without them, I wouldn't be able to be there. And Nation's Best is always highlighting athletes like Ali and giving them the spotlight that they deserve and they've earned. So I want to give that, if you guys didn't catch that in the introduction, this is being brought to you by Nation's Best Football. But up until now, okay, this is your life up until now. What's the biggest life lesson that you've taken from football that you can apply into your regular life?
Biggest life lesson. It's a hard one. It's a good question. Biggest life lesson I've taken from football into life, definitely my hard work. So I'm gonna start working a summer job in a couple of weeks. So I've been working hard since I was a kid, and I made sure not to like burn out, to schedule my workouts smartly and not to go overboard, but not to go underboard too. But that work is gonna help me in life and be a beast in anything. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I am so glad that you shared that. So I'll leave you with this, because part of the reason I started this show back in 2017 was to highlight athletes like yourself and just other sports figures, because I wanted to show people that athletes can learn a lot through sports that they can translate into their regular lives. As a business owner myself, I love hiring athletes. I love working with athletes, even if they're former athletes, because I know that they've learned hard work. They've learned teamwork. They've learned respect. They've learned how to face adversity and come back from bad situations. They've learned how to adjust on the fly. These are life skills that they can learn. And the fact that you said hard work, I will just encourage you to continue doing that, because working hard in the weight room and working hard in the preparation with the film and all the stuff that you're doing with Locked In and everybody else, working hard, getting in, your summer workouts with your high school team, those things later on, let's say 5, 10, 15 years down the road, you're going to remember that stuff, so that when you're running a business or you're working, you're doing something, those hard work principles, like waking up early and just doing the job as good as you can possibly do it, that's going to benefit you later on down the road. And that's why I wanted to ask that question. So just remember that, because I think it's cool that You already understand the importance of hard work. I will be honest. That's a principle that seems to be missing in society these days with a lot of people. They don't understand what hard work really means, and you're already understanding it. So I commend you for that, brother. Hey, Ali, I appreciate you joining the show, man, and being willing to share your story with us. Is there anywhere that we can follow you out? Like, I've got the Instagram handle here that I'm going to put in the description of the podcast, but is there anywhere else that we can follow your journey as you go into the high school level?
Twitter. Yeah, Twitter. It's the exact opposite username. It's QB1_Ali on Twitter.
Solid. Okay, so we'll make sure that we put that in the description for all the listeners out here. If you don't know Ali and you want to follow him on his journey, we'll have his links to his Instagram and his Twitter here. And again, for anybody who's new to listening to the show, if this is your first time, I just appreciate everybody tuning in. If you wouldn't mind leaving me a review on Apple Podcasts, if you guys are listening on your Apple device, like an iPhone or an iPad, leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or follow me on YouTube. It all helps out as the show continues to grow. So, Ali, thanks so much for joining the show, brother. I really appreciate your time, man.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. You take care.
All right. See you.
Guys, thanks so much for listening to another episode of my show. Now, if you could go and do me a favor, head over to iTunes, give me 5 stars, and leave me a review, it would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your support.